أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم ففهمنا سليمان وكلنا آتينا حكما وعلما رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم سبحانك لما وحنانيك ألم لا تنسني ولا تنسني الحمد لله أفضل الحمد اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه نبينا وصالحين وسلم أنا وفقني واهدني وسددني واجمع لي بين الصواب والثواب وإذني والخطأ والإرمان آمين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to another episode of Questions and Answers. I'm your host, Amjad Muhammad, and I'll be with you for what remains of this hour, dealing with your questions, your queries, and your curiosities. The number to call is 01274 214299. That's 01274 214299. If, on the other hand, you wish to email, then the email address is amjad.muhammad@alkhair.org, amjad.muhammad@alkhair.org. So those are the introductions and those are the details. Please do take maximum benefit from them via email or via phone. And alhamdulillah, it's been another busy day again in the office. We were just speaking to Adil, saying temperatures are slightly dropping again, and we were discussing about the potential snow bomb or whatever it is that's on its way. So expect some colder weather around the corner. But hopefully it won't be staying for too long, inshallah. But let's see what the plans are and act accordingly. And we did speak as well at length yesterday about the coming of Ramadan, with the fact that we are now in Rajab and how we should be making some plans accordingly. So those were the conversations that we've had. We're going to take some questions on the channel that we have here on the Telegram Darul Ifta, Markazul Ifta wal Qadha. And then inshallah, once we've taken some questions on there, if we have had some calls, then we will deal with the calls accordingly. If not, as I said, we will complete our questions that we have received via this system here. I'm just going to check the email just to see if we've got any emails that have come through. Let me just jump across to the Al Khair, and no, we don't have anything on the Al Khair email address. So that means nothing's come through as yet. But if you do have any, then please do email across. I'll pick them up as and when. So let's jump across onto some questions on these groups. So where have we got to? Okay. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I pray Mufti Sahib's well. I had a question, please, if that's okay. A non-Muslim is interested in Islam and wants to read the Quran translation. I was wondering how they would handle the Quran, please, as it has Arabic inside it also. I was thinking of recommending to them the Noble Quran by Mufti Taqi Usmani Sahib, Hafizahullah. Jazakallah khairan, Mufti Sahib. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Okay, what we'll do is, I've just been told there's a caller who's called in, so rather than answer to that question, we'll take the caller who's called on 01274 214299. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, dear caller.
I just wanted to ask, basically, like the interest money and like the zakat, the gold, or the money you have said that you have to give to poor, is the interest and that zakat gold and the money you have said to give, like the save that you have, like say £1,000, and you have to give, £25 for that. Is it different amount? Which for the interest that you have saved that you want to give? What type of people can you give it to? Do they have to be really poor? Because someone told me, this is what I'm trying to understand. Someone told me they have to have savings of less than £300 to give it to them. So I'm a bit confused, because I know you can give it to the really poor, but when you're really poor, is it like that? Because I know one situation where they're in this country and husband and wife, The husband works for the charity. They give him food and they give him a place to stay. They give him a bit of money. Now, she used to stay somewhere else and earn money, live in that person's house, and they used to get, but she doesn't. She's gone back to her husband in where the charity, and she's living with her husband in the place that the charity has given them, and he gets money. But when I ask her how much money does your husband get paid, she doesn't tell me, because I will give it to her. I said, and when I asked her how much money does your husband, she does not tell me. But someone told me else that, when I said, does your husband get money? She goes, no. But she has already told somebody else that her husband does get money. So I'm confused here, but I'm thinking, should I give it to that person or should I not? Because that person is not telling me how much her husband is getting. So, she's saying they already give her a little bit of food to eat, but she's not telling me how much her husband's getting. She's saying, no, my husband doesn't get no money, when she's already told somebody that her husband gets money. So I'm confused, because I said I would give it to her, but in my head I'm thinking, should I not give it to her because she's lying? And why is she not telling me? So, I'm confused. So that money, interest money, who can I give it to? And do they have to have less than £300 for them to have that? I know it's really poor, but, because someone told me it has to be less than £300 for them to have that money. So can you explain to me about that, please?
No problem at all, sister. Jazakumullah khairan.
Okay.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. So sister has asked sort of maybe 2-3 questions. One question is about the zakah. One question is about the interest, and one question is about this individual who has told somebody that her husband gets paid, but she's not disclosing it to this sister. So let's first tackle zakah. So zakah is that we have to, as one of the, as we call it, pillars of Islam, is that we have to give 2.5% of whatever savings we have in the path of Allah as zakah. So as the sister said, if you have £1,000, then 2.5% is £25. And this can be anything. This can be money, this can be gold, this can be silver, this can be shares, whatever form you have these assets in. If these assets are an investment of sorts, it could be your pension, you add all your assets up. Once you add them all up, the money under the mattress, the money in the bank account, the money in your wallet, wherever the money is, savings account, current account, and then what you add to it is any gold that you may have. So the gold rings, earrings, necklaces, any gold that you've kept, wedding gold that you don't wear. And then any shares that you might have shares in Apple, you might have an investment, you might have a pension. So you add all these assets up. Once you add them all up, you then will take 2.5% and give that as your zakah. I'll carry on with that, but we've had another caller who's called on 01274 214299. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, dear caller.
वालेकुम सलाम काजी जी क्या हाल है ठीक हो
जी अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह जी बहन जी आप कैसे हैं
ठीक
जी फरमाएं
बताएं कि उनकी शादी के लिए ना
किसकी शादी
बच्चियों की शादी के लिए ना
जी जी
पढ़ने के लिए कुछ बताएं और ना दुआ भी करें कि वो
ठीक है इंशाल्लाह
जो मेरा मसला हल हो जाए ना
नो प्रॉब्लम बहन जी नो प्रॉब्लम
जो सुन रहे हैं वो भी दुआ करें
नो प्रॉब्लम इंशाल्लाह नो प्रॉब्लम okay wa alaikum. So just going back to the question then, so with regards to the zakat, so we've now calculated the zakat. So that zakat can only be given to somebody, there's 8 categories, okay? And of the 8 categories, the usual categories that we look at is those that come under the word faqir and miskin. Okay, faqir and miskin. And this will be somebody who is has absolutely nothing, or somebody who has something that at least they can survive. Whatever the case is, as the sister's been rightly told, that it's about 300 and whatever pounds it is It will be on a website. So if you go to Wifaq al-Ulama's website, wifaqulama.co.uk, I think, there will be the nisab value. And the nisab value for silver is 300 odd pounds. So if they have that as gold, as money or something like that, then they are, according to the Sharia, considered as rich. And therefore you cannot give your zakat to them. Okay, you cannot give your zakat to them. You have to give your zakat to somebody who is below that value. When it comes to interest, now interest is what we consider to be filth, okay, from a Muslim Islamic perspective. That any interest, any sood that we have, even though it looks like money, it is actually filth. Like, for example, we can have a hamburger and we can have a halal chicken burger. Now they both look like food. One is a hamburger, one's a halal chicken burger. But one is filth and one is halal, permitted to eat. So similarly, interest looks like money and hard-earned halal money looks like money. So we think, well, they look the same. Yes, but one, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has considered it to be filth and one He's considered it to be pure. And we take pure in whatever form, in the form of food and in the form of money. So interest we give to the poor without intention of reward. Whereas when we give zakat, we give with the intention of reward. We are expecting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to reward us. Okay, when we give our zakat. But when we give our interest, we do not expect any reward. Why? Because we're not allowed to take interest in the first place. So we have taken it, and now we want to just remove this filth. So when you throw your rubbish in the bin, okay, you've not done anybody a favor. You've just got rid of rubbish out your own house. Okay, in fact, you're happy that the bin men are taking your rubbish away. So you're not doing the bin man a favor. The bin man is saying, you know, I would prefer that you didn't put any rubbish in the bin because then I didn't need to empty your bin. But when we put rubbish in the bin man is doing us a favor. So when we give interest, it is the people who are taking an interest that are doing our favor. Okay? And again, interest can only be given to the poor. Okay? Those people who are below that limit that we've already mentioned. So now we get onto the third part of the question, where we have this couple, this family. It seems as though they have hardly any of their own possessions. They live in somebody's house, the charity that's looking after them. They have obviously items in the house, you know, cups, tables, whatever, but they don't have any assets. They don't have any money. They don't have any gold. They don't have any shares. They don't have a pension. They don't have any assets. They don't have any savings. They only have like £100 or whatever money they have gets spent in the month. They've got to pay the gas bill, the electric bill, the whatever, you know, the rates, the water bill. So even though they might bring £500 home, they have bills of £600 every month. So they're always going to be spend all their money. So in that regard, yes, we can give that to them. However, it seems, for whatever reason, this sister is not willing to share her husband's earnings with this other sister. Now, I don't know why that is, why she's not willing to share her savings, her earnings as to what she is earning. So I wouldn't say we should be suspicious, but we, as those who are giving our zakat, need to make sure that the person who we give our zakat to is legally a recipient of zakat. Okay, is legally a recipient of zakat, that they are allowed to receive zakat. Otherwise, if our zakat is given to somebody who is not allowed to receive it, our zakat is not done. Okay, if we've done no research, if we've done no investigation, and we just think, nah, I'll be all right, chalo yaar, it's okay, give it to her, then obviously that's a problem. But if we've done our research, we talk to her, and she tells us, look, the only reason I didn't want to share with you what my husband earns because he doesn't earn a lot. He only gets £150, so I was embarrassed to tell you. That's why I didn't tell you. And when I told the other sister, I only told her that so she wouldn't laugh at me, so I said, oh, you know, my husband gets paid. So it could be, we don't know what the reason is. So if we do our research, we do our investigation, and after doing our research and after doing our investigation, we find that this person is below nisab, below that value of 300 odd pounds. They are below that, then yes, of course, we can give our zakat to them. Okay, we can even give the interest money to them. But if they are above there, then we can't. If they're not willing to disclose, for whatever reason, we don't know the reason, then we need to be careful. We're not suspicious that, oh, most likely the reason why they're not telling us is because they've got lots of money. We shouldn't be suspicious. There could be, like I said, other reasons why they don't want to disclose it. But on our side, we need to make sure that the person who is receiving our zakat is below nisab. So we have to do our research. We have to do our investigation. If we don't do our research, if we don't do our investigation, then we have been negligent. We have not been careful with our zakat. It's like, for example, you find some water and you just make wudu with it. You don't ask that, oh, is this water clean? Is this water pure? Or you don't check the time and you just pray your Asr or pray your Maghrib. Or you don't ask people which way Qibla is, or you don't do tahari yourself and you just put your musalla down and just pray whichever direction you want. We can't do that. We can't do that with any of our acts of worship. So what we have to do is we have to do some investigation, we have to do some research before we make that decision. So I hope, sister, that I've covered all the angles. If not, we're going to be going for a break, inshallah. Please do call us back after the break if there's some other areas that you wish me to cover or I've not covered, and I'm more than happy to cover that as well. दूसरी बहन जी ने जो फ़ोन किया, बस दुआ की दरख्वास्त किया कि जिसके पास ये बेटियां हैं या बच्चे हैं जिसकी शादी की उम्र है, अभी तक उनका शादी नहीं हुआ, तो उनके लिए दुआ करें। आज है जुमेरात भी है, तो हम दुआ करेंगे अल्लाह की, बस अभी इशा के बाद भी, कि अल्लाह सुब्हाना जिस घर में बच्चियां हैं या बच्चे हैं जिसकी अभी शादी की उम्र है, उनके लिए कोई रिश्ता ढूंढ रहा है वालिदैन, कि उनके लिए अच्छी तरह से रिश्ता मिल जाए और वो फिर उसके बाद शादी के बाद भी खुश भी रहे, उनके बाल बच्चे भी ठीक रहे, और बस उनके ऐसे दीन और दुनिया दोनों कामयाब हो जाए, और उनके लिए ये आखिरत भी, दुनिया भी और आखिरत भी उनके लिए कामयाब हो जाए। आमीन। बस ये हर वालिद और वालिदा का गम है कि उनके बच्चे जो है उन पर उनका शादी हो जाए और सेट हो जाए, इसलिए कि ज़िम्मेवारी बहुत है कि अल्लाह सुब्हानहू व तआला सबको ये ज़िम्मेवारी है को मुकम्मल कर ले और ये परेशानी को दूर कर ले। आमीन। So we will be inshallah taking a short break, and we will return after the short break with more questions and answers. So as I've said before, please don't go too far. We're only going to be disappearing for a minute or so, and then we will be back on air for more questions. So see you in a few minutes time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.